Perchance to Dream is the very first episode of The Twilight Zone to air not written by series creator Rod Serling. This time, it was written by soon-to-be frequent collaborator Charles Beaumont, and based on his short story of the same name from 1958. The title is of course derived from Hamlet's to be or not to be speech by William Shakespeare. It features solid performances from Richard Conte and Suzanne Lloyd, plus some well-shot and directed dream sequences, unique music, and his signature Twilight Zone twist ending. Edward Hall is a 35-year-old man with a severe heart condition. He visits a psychiatrist complaining of recurring episodic dreams that have him on edge. He hasn't slept for 87 hours and fears that once he falls back into his slumber, he'll be killed in his dream and not wake up. He goes on to explain to the psychiatrist that he's always had an overactive imagination and often scares himself into thinking terrifying things are happening when in reality there's no threat. It's been worse recently as his fear of sleep is delved into in detail. We're shown visual interpretations of Hall's dreams and the central tormentor in them, a carnival dancer named Maya. Since the airing of this episode in 1959, the theme of dreams and the blurring of reality have been explored in many different ways. Nightmare on Elm Street and Inception are a few bigger cinematic examples that have dealt with the concept in similar and different ways. Even Rod Serling's proto-Twilight Zone episode, The Time Element, had a few similar themes with vivid dreams and psychiatrists. So what I'm trying to say is that we've seen this kind of premise done a lot successfully, to the point where most modern audiences would be able to tell where a story like Perchance to Dream is going. To that point, it's not the very best episode that Charles Beaumont wrote for this show, but there is quite a bit to admire about it, particularly Richard Conte's turn as Edward Hall. His delivery and combination of an exhausted and frantic disposition kept me interested throughout.
If I go to sleep, I'll go right back to the roller coaster. Maya will reach me. She'll push me.
Suzanne Lloyd as the mysterious Maya brings a femme fatale flavor to this story. She's meant to represent Howard's possible demise, but as a seductive presence that tempts him into dangerous situations.
How do you know my name?
Oh, I know a lot of things. I'm Maya. Don't be afraid.
The music here by Van Cleve adds a very unique sense of abnormality that had not been utilized at this point in the series. It gets more intense as the episode goes along and almost becomes a character in itself by the end. But by far the best part of this episode are the visuals. From the beginning shot of the skyscraper, which might be stock footage, I'm not sure, to the surreal experience of Edward's amusement park dream. It's outstanding. Regular cinematographer George T. Clemens and veteran director Robert Florey brought a beautiful look to the different aspects of the carnival. Heavy shadows, canted angles, and distorted imagery gave it a striking appearance. The scene in the funhouse is the finest of the whole episode. The twisted sets give it a look similar to that of the cabinet of Dr. Caligari. The audio and pacing used in this scene are also quite creepy. Let's talk about the ending. After seeing that the psychiatrist's receptionist looks exactly like Maya, Edward goes mad and jumps out the window to his death. But in reality, he was still sleeping in the doctor's office, moments after entering. Apparently, he screamed and died of a heart attack right there on the couch. There are hints that most of the episode was a dream the whole way through. Lighting changes, close-ups, and even lines suggested what we were seeing wasn't quite on the up and up.
We've been expecting you, Mr. Hall. We've been expecting you, Mr. Hall.
Overall, it's a decent episode that Charles Beaumont wrote from some personal experience. Like this character, he also at times had an overactive imagination. Not unusual for a writer of this caliber, but he was frightened of roller coasters and supposedly dreamed in chapters. Beaumont also had complicated feelings about carnivals. Evidently, it was a sort of twisted attraction where he was a bit scared of them but enjoyed them just the same, much how like the Maya character is of a dual nature in relation to Edward. There are much better episodes written by Beaumont, but if you want to see his very first, check this one out. There's enough about it that should make for an entertaining trip into the Twilight Zone.
They say a dream takes only a second or so, and yet in that second a man can live a lifetime.